Hi, this is Andrew from Andrew's Gammill Northwest, and this video is about how to adjust your rocking finger timing. I want you to first have watched the other video on the website about how to check your machine timing before you adjust your rocking finger timing. So, assuming that your machine timing is correct, here's how to adjust the rocking finger timing. A lot of times, there's two symptoms that your rocking finger timing is wrong. The first is that you can quilt half the day and everything's fine, and towards the end of the day you go across the quilt and you've got a row of loops on the back of the quilt. The top looks fine, but the back looks terrible. And that's one possibility, that you're not getting enough action with your rocking finger. The second possibility is that you're getting occasional loops. Maybe 100 stitches are fine, or maybe 10 stitches are fine, and then you get a loop, or you get broken threads, repeated breaking of the top thread. And these can all be symptoms of the rocking finger needing to be adjusted. So here's a simple way to adjust it yourself at home. What I've done is, to be able to see what I'm doing, I've removed the needle plate. That's these 4 screws right here, and I took the needle plate out. I would suggest that before you adjust your rocking finger, you should remove your needle plate so that you have good visibility. The rocking finger is this piece right here. I'm going to use my screwdriver to point it out. It has a couple adjustments. The most important one to check before you proceed is the height of the rocking finger. The rocking finger is supposed to engage with this little tab right here, and as I turn the machine, it actually presses, it separates, and then it presses there and pushes on the bobbin case base. And there it opens, and there it closes, and there it opens, and there it closes. And so the key is to get this adjusted right so it's not pinching the thread. And the first thing is the height. The rocking finger needs to come up high enough that it hits on this little bump here and that they touch each other. But if the rocking finger is too high, protruding up into this space, you wouldn't be able to get your bobbin case in. If it's too low, it doesn't even touch here and engage. The correct setting is that they touch, but you want the rocking finger pretty much as low as you can get it. It's not real often that this needs to be adjusted, but if your height is way off and you're looking at it, there are 2 big Allen head screws. I think they're 5 or 6 millimeter. There's one back here and the other one back there. All you have to do is crack them loose. They're really tight. Crack it loose and loosen it one turn. The whole mechanism will go up and down, and you can get this height set where you want it to be. The more common thing, though, is that the gap isn't right. And in order to get the right gap, you can view up here at the top. You can see if you're getting a gap. And the correct is that when I turn the machine around, right now, right where I have the point of this needle, there is no gap. The shiny metal is against the black metal. But as I continue to turn, the rocking finger down below has opened a gap right here, and then the gap closes, and then the gap opens and closes, and opens and closes, and opens and closes. When it opens the gap here, I'm going to stop in a second. Okay, when it opens the gap over here, you need to make sure that it's not opening so far that it closes on the other side, because the thread needs to get up through here. And so I've come up with what I think is a pretty easy way of checking at home if your finger's in the right place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a regular Gammill needle, size 4. That's the one you use every day for everything. And this Gammill needle is going to be my gauge for where this finger is supposed to sit. When you turn the machine around to where the gap is at its largest, right here, you can loosen this set screw here down underneath until the finger becomes loose. Now if you loosen it too far, it's really loose. See how it moves like that? So So I'm going to tighten it just a little so that I can still move it, but that it doesn't just, there, see, I can push on it and move it, but it doesn't move under its own power. Now I'm going to take this standard size 4 needle and I'm going to put it straight up and down in this gap right here. And I'm going to move it to where the eye of the needle is facing me, and the eye of the needle is level here, and I'm going to push my little push my finger up against there, and then I'm going to gently tighten the screw about another 1/8 of a turn. Now I'm going to test it. I'm going to turn the machine, and I'm going to make sure that it taps and then it opens, and it taps and then it opens. Now I'm going to go look up here, and I'm going to verify that it opens a gap and then it closes the gap. And when it opens the gap, it's not closing it over here. You got to make sure that it's not closing over on the other side. You only need a very small gap to open up over here to let the thread through. That's what we're using the thickness of the needle to measure. I'm going to double check it. Yep, that's the right gap. And push on the finger a little bit with your hand just to make sure that you've tightened the screw enough that it doesn't move too easily. If you over tighten this set screw down here, it binds up the whole machine. So it's got to be tight enough that a little bump isn't going to move it, but you can't just reef on this screw or your machine will be bound up. You might have to do it 2 or 3 times before the machine is sewing right. It's not uncommon for a beginning somebody who hasn't done it before to have to do it a couple of times before they get it right. But it's not that complicated. The key is use this needle to measure the gap in here so that you get the right amount, and then double check up here to make sure that when it opens, it doesn't open too far and end up closing the gap on the other side. That's your tutorial. If you have any problems or concerns, feel free to contact us. My email address is andrew@andrewsgammillnorthwest.com. Thank you.